One of us is on our way to Disney World, but don't worry, we have the perfect substitute host coming up next on Traveling with the Mouse. Welcome, everyone, to episode number 347 of Traveling with the Mouse. My name is John. I will be your host this week. Joining me today is, of course, always Adam.
What's up, everybody? Yep, it's me. I'm here.
It's Adam.
Always here.
Just Adam.
Always.
And so that kind of gives you the idea of the person that's on the road and is on the way to Disney World. That would be Jason. He's on his way to Disney as we speak.
We should call him.
Do you want to give him a call?
Yeah.
So filling in for Jason, as we have done before, is my brother, James.
What's up, everybody?
Wait a minute.
Come on now.
Sorry, cuz.
You're going to have to come up and be creative. You can't use the same ones.
Jason did that last week.
I know, right? You're getting
everybody's stealing my thing, who I stole from a YouTube guy. But anyway.
Well, that's what I was saying. I thought you'd stolen it originally.
I did steal it.
So, all right. We're ready to go back to Disney? Anyone? Making plans?
Well, one of us is trying to do that, so.
Yes, he's in the middle of it.
I am so dedicated to this show that I stay here.
Right. You just said, I'm going to forego going to Disney.
Yep.
Because somebody's got to do a job.
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody's got to edit this podcast. Cause
well, what it is you're saving all your money for the Star Cruiser, right?
Do you know how many hours I've spent editing 347 episodes of this show?
It's actually probably a pretty good bit. I've thought about helping you to help take some of that off of your hands, but you're so good at it. So.
Like you thought about it so hard that you just now told me for the first time. after
exactly.
After
I mean, I've kept it inside.
Right.
I just but I just couldn't hold it back anymore. All right.
Kept it inside since 2018.
I would say that's kind of like when somebody says, "Oh, I meant to call you." It's the same thing.
Sure.
They didn't mean to.
Actually, Adam, it was July. Yeah. It was July of 2017.
Oh, really?
August.
Wait,
one of those similar things.
Oh, so it's even longer than I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes me feel
better.
We're
going to be doing. We're coming up on a 5-year anniversary of doing this show.
That makes me feel better. Yeah.
With so much to show for it.
Yeah. Well, it started with me and you, and now we've got like 4 of us, so we're a whole.
Exactly. Would this? I don't know. Would this? Would what we're using? Would it actually handle all 4 of us at the same time? I guess it did once.
Right.
I just wonder if it would on a regular basis.
It can.
See, so we could just bring James in all the time.
Right. If you think about it, our audience has doubled from me and you to now me, you, James, and Jason.
Very good point. Our cast has doubled.
Oh, sure. Well, I listen, so that's the same.
And we've had guests on, so we haven't done that in a while either. We need to think of another guest that we want to do.
I think I have one
interview with.
I have one in mind.
You have one in mind? You have one in mind? Okay.
I do.
That we can actually get.
Okay. Well, I don't anymore.
I was going to say, you're thinking of what, Joe Rohde or somebody?
Bob Chapek, the one and only. We're going to get him on.
I see.
I'm going to set up a meeting with him when he sets up one with Ron DeSantis.
Bob Chapek?
Right.
Okay.
Which will be never, right? So,
since you know the Woo, we'll get him on here.
Yeah, we could get Adam the Woo on here. Yeah, we exchanged information 3 years ago when I met him.
And I'm sure he remembers you very well.
Right. Right. The guy that followed him around Galaxy's Edge when he first saw it.
Stalked him.
Basically. Watched him buy a Coke. And a thermal detonator. Yeah.
All right, so speaking of Star Wars,
I
think did we touch on the Star Cruiser last week? I'm trying to remember how much
we did talk about it, yeah. What we saw of it at the time, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what we saw of it at the time. I think it's been another week, so we know a little bit more about it.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, we can get James's opinion in here, because he's not exactly the biggest Star Wars fan, but he has watched, as he said, several videos on the Star Cruiser.
How many of the comics do you read? Just out of curiosity.
Me?
Yeah, the Star Wars comics. Yeah.
Oh, 0.
What? Wait, and you're not a Star Wars fan?
No. What defines being a fan? Dressing up in plastic. What is it?
Plastic.
Ceremonial banging of the plastic
toys. Yeah. Is that part of it?
Is that what you were going for?
Would I go do it? Yeah, but I'm not paying for it.
You wouldn't dress up like Han Solo?
I would dress up like Chewie so nobody know I was there.
What would your... Right. Yeah, you're tall. You're almost tall enough. You were our Chewie.
And all I have to do is holler, so...
That's right. Never mind.
I mean...
Get some brown towels.
It's not like they're going to do a voice identification. Listen to me go... Yeah, I think I'll be fine.
What would your backstory be? You're a Wookiee that works on intergalactic forklifts?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. What would
Hey,
be the
you see?
equivalent?
Chewie was one of the mechanics on the main mechanic on the
there you
Falcon, so...
You know how
Chewie have a
to...
lot in common.
Yeah, you know how to work on Corellian starships.
I sure do.
So that would be your backstory. You and Chewie worked together on Corellia. Is that the name of the planet? I actually don't know.
I have no idea.
Corellia? I think that's the name of it. I don't know.
Anyway, I would say it has many different levels of fandom. So, like, say, you take someone like myself that enjoys the movies and
The shows.
stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that, and doesn't go as far as, like...
The comics. Or the novels.
Yeah, I've gone as deep as watching the Clone Wars.
Sure.
But outside of that, I mean, I don't go that deep. So I would still consider myself a fan, but I'm not...
I've never cosplayed either, I would say that.
I'm never going to go to a convention, that sort of thing.
I would dress up some on the ship, probably, because I think it would be fun to create a backstory and try to play it out, so...
Right.
That's a fun thing to play. Like, what would your backstory be?
For me?
Yeah. What would you pick?
I have no idea. I'd have to think about these things because I'm not really good at coming up with this stuff, especially on the fly.
Well, if we were doing it together, we'd be like a podcast in the no-ad system. Okay. I don't know. That's our...
I did see one of the guys that I watch, they were staying in the actual $15,000 suite.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wait a minute. $15,000 is how much that would cost?
That's what it said.
There's probably only, 2 of them on the Star Cruiser? Like, how many are there actually?
Yeah, what's that, 4 or 6 maybe? How much does it cost per person?
A lot.
Well, see, that's what I'm confused by because I remember seeing the different level prices on that before, and I don't think it was quite that much, but...
That sounds right to me.
It does? Okay.
That sounds right to me.
Okay.
'Cause how big of a room? Like
It was actually decent size.
Yeah, so it's like a.
Because they had like a
special thing.
room, then they had like, I know y'all saw the standard room. It's almost like they had
Right.
another room, then the standard room, of course, with the bed and the 2 bunk beds.
But to be honest, after I thought about it, I was like, they're presenting this as like a cruise that's in space, right? So it's only natural that they would make the cabins, especially as they put it, and that hallway reminds you of a hallway on a cruise ship, that they would make the cabins in similar size to what they do on a cruise ship. You know, they're not the biggest rooms in the world, but they are, as far as cruise lines go, Disney's is decent size. But they made the Star Cruiser in a similar fashion. That's what I'm trying to get at. So I don't have a problem with the size of them for that reason, because I know what they were trying to do.
Yeah, size matters not, says Yoda. So I agree. If Yoda judged me by my size, do you?
Well, anyway, let's go back to what we're doing. James.
Yeah.
Star Cruiser. Your thoughts, I guess, on what you have seen.
It seems like it's more for the people that like to do cosplay to me and like to dress up and do that kind of stuff because, well, I mean, honestly, you can participate or you don't have to, right?
But why pay all that money?
And not participate, right? And then you can be, you know, just the ones I saw, you could be resistance or...
Yeah. I think they probe you with questions to try and figure out, like, what side you might go.
It's pretty cool. That, I mean, of course, they busted up into different parties to do, you know, one does lightsaber training, one does something where they do a bunch of mazes or puzzles or whatever it is to...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have to help different people do stuff. It's kind of cool. It's like dinner theater and stuff.
And then they kind of meet and go, oh, it's lunchtime, and we go eat lunch and then do something else. And it seems like they try to make it work, to make it look like it's worth $5,000 a person or whatever it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there is a couple of things about the Star Cruiser. We know how reliable Rise of the Resistance is, right? Apparently, characters tell Galactic Starcruiser ride that it's broken. Tell the guests, I should say, Starcruiser guests, that the ride is broken. It makes me think like they're doing it like like the communication via the data pad or something like that. Like, for instance, it gives an example. If you're working for the First Order, Corey will instruct you to visit Resistance Camp at Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. Corey sends a photo of the turret of the attraction and helps you to find your way. This is talking about like the mission, right? Tells you to pretend you're looking to enlist, things like that. If the ride is down, you're able to say, I'm not able to enter Resistance Camp, or I won't do this today. Then Croy then helps you find a control panel so you can hack into it and set up transponders. So they actually give you like alternate missions, I guess. Yeah. Which if Rise is down, it's good that they have that. I mean, I think they probably knew immediately that they were going to need this.
Yeah, sure.
Based on the ride, so it's good that they have a backup plan. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't think we touched on this last week, but I can't remember if this story was available by then, but it might have been. It may not have been, though. But there was video showing inside Guardians, the loading station.
Yep.
I don't think we mentioned that.
I did see that.
I did mention that, by the way.
Why
Zach
do I not
Ridley.
remember it?
You know what, though? Did you see the video of Tron today that Disney released?
I was just fixing to say that.
That was one thing I was going to go to, yeah. So
yeah,
they're doing, what do they call it?
It's like
push-pull testing, I guess is what you're...
Yeah. And he said it will be visible to guests, which I actually remember seeing them do that to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And basically the train just moved at like half a mile an hour on the track as they were testing like the turns and everything or the angles maybe, that kind of thing. It looked like they were measuring.
They're testing the G's.
Could be. That'll be later. I imagine they'll be testing it at full speed, he said after. Which he did mention 1 or 2 months of this, and he did sort of give that. So I wondered why they allowed that to be included, because it sort of gives you an idea of there's at least, 4 to 6 months of testing they might do, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
That's what
sure.
it sounded like. So that would put it at maybe a fall time frame of when this would be ready, probably.
Wait a minute, are you talking about this fall?
Yeah. I mean,
You would think it would be at
testing.
least this fall.
I mean, just think it would be, if it's 6 months of testing from now, we're looking at September, October. Maybe this is like an October 1, 2022.
Perhaps. We shall see.
To start the close of the 50th anniversary celebration.
There you go.
There'll be the closeout. Although they typically say that theirs is like a year and a half, right? They usually go until the end of
it won't be over
this year.
Yeah, I think it's ending, January 2023.
18 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's roughly what they do.
So maybe
Most
it'll
of the
be
time.
March. I don't know.
Something like that. Recently, what was it, the investors call or whatever it was, the call that they have so often, that Chapek was
Answering questions on.
made a couple of things on. One of the things he mentioned, something that we thought was kind of interesting because we really thought this was scrapped, but he said he confirmed that the Mary Poppins attraction that they had planned for Epcot is on hold but not canceled.
Yeah, I read that too.
It still doesn't mean much to me. That I guess it's good as acknowledged, but on hold could mean on hold for like 50 years.
I also read that he was diverting a lot of questions too.
Oh, yeah.
Like what?
He didn't want to answer them. Unlike a lot of the stuff that they say, hey, the Mary Poppins and what was the other one they were mentioning? There's a couple other ones that that they've talked about doing and they haven't done anything yet.
Right.
And people were asking him, and he goes, it sounded like he was diverting the question.
One of them was the Coast to Coast annual pass they were talking
Yes.
about, and he mentioned,
Yeah.
we could bring that back. Oh, almost like he forgot about it.
Yeah.
Right.
The passport or whatever it was
He
called.
wasn't prepped on what to say.
And of course, the other one, the Don't Say Gay bill, the very controversial thing in Florida, he speaks out against it after it's already passed, so he does this.
Well, I saw something else here not too long ago that made me think that people might have been just kind of jumping on him because it's easy to jump on him, but I don't know for sure. Yeah, I don't know for sure, but
Yeah.
Didn't they say something about Disney donating $5 million or something like that?
And they returned it. Because Chapek was trying to have it both ways. He was trying to support it behind the scenes and then speak out against it after the fact. And it's like, you can't have it both ways, dude. But I think Iger would have been more outspoken and more authoritative about it.
I just feel like because there's people who find any reason to crap on Chapek, which I'm not saying that a lot of times he doesn't deserve it, but I don't want to. I always want to be fair. I don't want to just look for a reason to crap on Chapek.
I think he deserves it. I think he's trying to have it both ways, and he would say this after the fact, like, okay, I think Disney knows who their audience is, and
I think he was unprepared.
Oh, one thing I did want to say.
Anyway.
All right, going back to the Star Wars.
Chapek sucks, in other words. All right, go ahead, move on.
Going back to the Star Wars hotel, you notice, I know y'all have watched some of them, but you notice that there's no social distancing mask or anything between crew and guests. They're getting real up close and personal. So why don't they just go ahead and let the characters and all the interaction and all that come back?
Yeah.
Well, it's in the works.
Yeah, is that something that Chapek said too? Because there was another story saying traditional meet and greets were returning soon. That's the story.
Something like that.
They didn't give an exact date, but if Disneyland Paris is doing it, I think it's just a matter of a week or two. We'll hear about it.
Typically.
That's
you
what
would
I
think
would
it'd be something like that.
When are they going to open the barbershop?
Right, tell me about it. That took my son there for his first haircut.
That's what I told Jenna. I said, that's where Russell's going to get his first one.
There you go.
Well,
hopefully it better open. Hopefully it opens soon.
Maybe.
Right, you'll have to have a mullet for a while. Baby mullet.
I don't know. Which one? Was it Harrison that had his first one there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. How old was it? Do you remember?
Gosh, it was July of 2019, so he was 2? Is that right?
When did he turn 2? August?
So it was just before September. So it was just before he turned 2.
Okay. He probably actually had hair when he was born, where Russell did not. He's like his father.
Right.
He had the rat tail on the back. That's all he had.
Well, that's all you need to cut.
So basically, back to the premier annual pass.
Yes. Coast to coast.
Yeah, the coast to coast pass for just a second.
Space Coast.
Basically, Chapek seemed to indicate to the person that asked the question that they were in a unique small club of people who can buy and use a Disneyland and Walt Disney World annual pass.
The people left who can afford that and Genie on both coasts, yeah.
Yeah.
That is a small group.
With what the annual pass cost, I'm sure the premier would be probably like, what $2,500 at this point? Mm-hmm. I mean...
That's for coast to coast pass?
Yes.
You think it'd just be $2,500?
Well, the last one was only... I'm going to say the last one was like $23, the last price was.
So, I was thinking probably nowadays it'd been like $3,000.
Yeah, it might be. I honestly think it might get up to that.
If people want it back and then they set a price on it, it's like, oh, hey, okay, you want it back? Here you go, $3,000.
I actually heard somebody actually make that argument one time and said that, because a lot of guests say that annual pass holders have the privileges or blah, 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 but yet y'all get blackouts, or Disneyland especially, they get blackouts, annual pass holders do, where the regular people who go buy a ticket can go right in. So they said, well, why don't we just bump up the price of the annual pass and just see how many people actually buy it? And you'll see if the people are going, okay, I'm getting a deal buying the annual pass, or I'm trying to use it, to take advantage of the park, especially now if you have reservations. So,
well, I mean, I'm not going to say it's an easy decision on whether or not you should get an annual pass when it comes to Disney World, for instance. And what I mean by that is you kind of got to weigh out, all right, you do get good discounts as far as dining, merchandise, stuff like that on it. If you're going to do those things already, then yes, that would be one perk. Also, you can make it worth your money that you pay for it. You can realistically do it in just 2 trips a year if you do it right.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, in general. I'm not talking about just the Disney World one. The Disneyland people are the ones that are getting, screwed right now.
Yeah.
The Disney World people are not, because you got 4 different parks to choose from. Disneyland has 2.
And there's no restrictions unless you have the Gold Pass or whatever.
Exactly. And I've just heard a lot of people go, okay, well, I can't, if I worked, I can only go during the week. So, I can't get one on the weekend, so.
You also can't buy a Disney World one currently either.
I thought that was coming back.
They haven't done it again.
Oh, okay.
They did it for a brief moment, and then they took it away. Oh. They did it for 3 months, and they took it away.
It'll come back.
And then so they closed the window again, and then I don't know why. Probably because they're rethinking the strategy. And then when the fall comes or whatever, whenever fiscal year ends, there's probably going to be something new, to be quite honest.
I feel like they paused it for now so they get more day ticket purchases. It'll
and
get
they're
more
making a mint off that right now.
Yeah. So once the 50th is over, they'll probably bring it back then.
I mean, golly, it's
I
ridiculous. And they're still claiming they're not at full capacity.
They're not going to go back to full capacity. That's another story.
Yeah, we're going to see it, though, this week as far as what the new full capacity is.
Well, it's like me and Jenna were talking about earlier. We was talking about, okay, they claim they're not at full capacity, but also all attractions aren't open. All parades, all character meets, restaurants. And so it is assuming a lot of people's time standing in line for rides. And that's when you go to the app, you're like, oh my God, Star Wars is a 180-minute wait. So, I mean,
Well, here's what I'm getting at, though. It's busy, yes. But there's been plenty of times a year when we've been in it to be busy and then be nowhere near full capacity. Mm-hmm. So they're basically saying they're never going to return to that. Well, I'm not going to say they never. They say they may never return to the former capacity to avoid parks bursting at the seams. Is the way it was quoted.
Okay, but how can anybody know that statistic but Disney?
Well, with the park reservation system, they sell the number of reservations
but who
that they think.
controls the park reservation system?
Disney. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
They
can tell.
They know
we're not at full capacity. Bull crap. I can't even move in here.
Well, it's like, we're not at full capacity. We just raised it.
Exactly.
Well,
that's what I told Jenna tonight. I was like, yeah, they may be 10 people off them full capacity, and they can go, well, we're not at full capacity.
Well, they could, but here's the thing. They so very rarely reached full capacity anyway, as we've stated before. Magic Kingdom was about the only park that ever reached where they had to turn people away.
What is full capacity?
In the past. I don't know what that number is, but
exactly.
I know that there
Nobody
have been times.
knows it but them.
But there's a fire code still, and they did have to turn people away, or else if it was just about the ticket sales, and they would never turned anyone away. They did have to turn people away. During
Christmas Day,
things like
a lot
4th of July, Christmas Day. They've had to do that several times in the past. They didn't have to this Christmas season because they have a different limit.
They're probably never going to do
the
reservation system. It's probably here to stay.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, Chapek loves it. That's why.
It takes away the spontaneity of me just wanting to be able to go when I want.
Yeah, because they can actually keep up with who's buying passes or who's buying tickets and who's annual pass holders and all that crap.
I can raise and lower my cholesterol at will.
That's right.
What?
It's Dwight Schrute.
Why would you raise it? So I can lower it.
So I can lower it.
Okay. So there you have it. Just like that. They can raise and lower it whenever they want. I guarantee you they're raising it this next few weeks.
Now, I can honestly say I am an Office. Adam turned me on to that years ago, and I've probably watched every episode at least 3 times.
I figured you would know
least.
that one. I thought...
Of course I did.
I was channeling like I knew it would happen.
I mean, it seems like several different stations play it now, and I still watch it.
Yeah. There's no Disney tie in there that I can think of, but anyway.
Sorry.
It just fit the moment, so I had to go with
it. John's like, okay.
Yeah.
So, right.
Moving on. He's herding the cats tonight. Keep going.
Yeah. So, by the way, speaking of Chapek yet again.
Yep.
You remember here not too long ago when Jason was mentioning he got his reminder about voting at the shareholders meeting, right?
Yes, right. Oh, yeah.
He has been re-elected to the board of directors preliminarily, which was expected. Re-elected, yeah. Yep, re-elected, so.
In fact, he did win this election.
So.
Gonna need a recount.
Not really all that surprising.
No, it's not surprising. We figured the board loves him because, they're rich, and they got richer.
Well, I gotta say, from a business perspective, he has managed to keep them in the black during times when... a lot of people are having trouble keeping it to that, too. Yeah.
They did lose a lot, but yeah, of course, they're getting it back.
Let's be honest, people are still coming to the parks. He's managed to make some people mad, but not mad enough to quit. you know, but not mad enough to. I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's actually, and this might sound too complimentary of him, but he's actually found ways to push the limits without breaking.
Have they done a new Genie Plus survey to see how many people are still buying it?
Well, here's the thing: they haven't asked whether or not people like it. They're asked whether or not they bought it, like I said in that survey. So on top of that, though, as I told Adam, I think not on the show, but I joined this group or got invited to this group for Genie Plus on Facebook, so I decided to do it and see what people were asking and saying. A lot of people, since Genie Plus has started, they'll talk about how they used it and they don't think they would have had a good time without it. And there's been a lot of people giving it praise in that group. And so as a whole, as far as people who especially didn't know how to use the FastPass Plus system particularly, they probably are going to be happy with this system because even though it's costing them more money in general, it's still not costing them as much as some places offer to skip lines. Any lines, for that matter.
I was telling you, John, that I was talking to a person that I work with who lives in another country. She lives in the Netherlands. And we were talking about Disney, and she mentioned, do they have something so you don't have to wait in line all the time? I was like, well, yeah, you have to pay for it now, but you can do it. And she was like, well, as long as it's shorter waits in the queues, then I think that sounds like it's worth it.
It's definitely worth it, the Lightning Lane options you have.
Well, it's worth it in the sense that you can get what you used to get for free.
True.
But anyway, it's just that perspective of somebody who is not a Disney person just asking, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's totally worth it then to pay extra.
The average person who's going to go and not go, or maybe they're just now starting to go, and maybe they're now getting turned on to it, and for them, they don't know any better. Yeah. They don't know any different. But there's enough in that category or in that group that it's going to make this successful, and they're going to think it's good or a good deal in general. I
think we can see what Chapek's strategy is, which is the suspension of annual passes, new sales. So they want the vacationers that come once every year to show up, pay all the extra money for Genie Plus,
and they will,
and they will because they aren't coming back for another year or two, and they got to make it all happen now.
Well, I think another thing is right now, since they had the pandemic, right, and they were able to turn certain things off for a while for a reason, and now you have, it's the 50th anniversary year, and things are, like people are coming that normally wouldn't come, and they don't really have any need to rely on annual pass holders for anything.
Right.
Not at the moment.
You know what I bet they are trying so hard to get back is the dining plan. I think they're trying to get it back.
I've heard several people talk about that.
Because that will make them even more money.
You think Disney's trying to get it back?
Yes.
I think they want it badly.
No, I mean, it's just like taking Ohana noodles away. Enough people say it, they're gonna bring it back.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be back.
Okay, so you're
soon.
talking about the fan base wants it back, not Disney.
Probably both.
Is that what you're saying?
Disney's going to do it because it's just another thing for them to make money, and people are going to do it.
It's another thing and they'll raise the price of what it costs per day again.
They're going to hope we forgot what it cost before.
Exactly. Totally. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what they're planning.
We had actually discussed this before. It was basically already just prepaid meals. It was not a discount.
Right.
It was advertised in a lot of ways by Disney as, would you like to save money by buying the dining plan? I know because I was asked this.
Either one of y'all ever used it?
I've done it once.
Okay, me and Jenna did it once. The first time we ever went. We said, we're going to do it, the whole 9 yards.
I had credits left over at the end.
I did too. We had
credits.
I think we took 30 bottles of Dasani home with us or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing. When we used but the snack credits, we did not take advantage of the snack credits whatsoever.
Yeah, I think we ended up with 3 left or something like that.
It was
3
crazy.
snack credits.
Yeah.
So they get you on that big time.
I mean, we had a ton because Jenna was like, we got all these snack credits left.
Yeah.
But as far as the dining goes, I mean, California Grill and all that is worth that. So
every time I've done the math, whenever I look at where I went and what I spent versus what I would have spent if I had got the dining plan, I always came out better. Now, are there people who can find a way to come out better? Sure. If you want to go signature dining, and if you want to go all of the or can get, first of all, reservations for all of the most expensive places to go, yeah, sure, you can make the most of your dining plan.
But all the signatures are 2 credits per meal. You
Not
gotta
all of them.
cough
There's
up.
some of them that were more expensive dollar-wise that were not signature.
So what's Victoria and Albert's?
Right. Yeah. That's going to be all of them. Plus
I
some.
know it. This is going to be your next 3 dining plans.
Yes.
But
You're in a
Yeah.
deficit now.
Yeah.
my point is,
Yeah.
like you just said, you had credits left over. I feel like a lot of people do that. But whenever it was all said and done, a lot of people walked away happy because they didn't feel like they were spending money while they were there because they'd already paid. They already included
Yeah,
it.
I mean, but we didn't, it was just snack credits because they have snack credits, and that's all we had left.
Yeah, we ended up with a few left. Yeah, a couple. Yeah. So
It's kind of like the person that says, hey, I love going on Carnival because it's so much cheaper than Disney. Yeah, you're not counting the $3,000 that you left in the casino as
exactly.
part of that.
right, you were. Yeah, it's all in how you look at it.
Yeah.
You never tell what you lose. You always tell what you win.
Right.
Right. But yeah, so Lynn Testa said on his recap of Galaxy's Edge, this is one of the reasons I thought of the dining plan, was he mentioned that the credit you get for your meal, he said it doesn't have to be Docking Bay 7, because he actually went to ABC Commissary. But he said when he redeemed it there, it came out as a dining credit. So he's like, oh, they've already preloaded the dining plan in the app. They're just probably waiting for some more to open or something in place before they roll it back out. But I bet it'll be by the summer for sure.
The question is, they'll have the dining plan. Do you think they'll ever do that whole free dining thing? I don't think that's ever going to happen again. I feel like that's gone.
Oh, that went away when Chapek took over.
Well, it went away before then.
Yeah. Well, no, they
But
did
I
one
just-
where it's like if you're on the 3rd Tuesday of the month and it's raining and you have one room next to the elevators at Port Orleans French Quarter,
All right.
then you can get the dining plan, the cheap one, for free.
See, even that was such a like tourist trap type
Right.
thing,
Right.
because you pay full price for the room.
Exactly.
Oh, but you got your dining free.
We're going to
like-
double the price of the room, but you
They're
get the
taking
dining
advantage of the
for free.
people that don't come that much.
Yeah. Which is why they're going to bring it back.
That's exactly what they're doing.
By saying this, I'm really not trying to demean anybody that might be listening to this that has done this. I'm really not. I'm just saying, if you sit down, do the math, it's not a deal. It's like that's what they were offering it as. It's not a deal. You have to work at it to even make it worth what you're going to end up paying. I mean, you have to do the math either before vacation or on vacation with credits. I mean,
Well, because you have to do a lot of scheduling, and if if you have
Yeah.
kids like all of us do, sometimes that doesn't work out. And luckily Emmeline was 6 the first time we took her, so it really wasn't that bad. But I mean, it definitely cuts into if you're planning to do this, and this, and this, okay, well, we need to schedule one of these because we bought the dining plan. So
And alcohol is not included, so
right.
that's like half the cost
go.
of my meal every time. So I spend at least as much on drinks as I do food, right? Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
It usually what hikes it up. No
That's
doubt.
what makes the food taste better.
Yeah.
and Disney is trying to get with the dining. All right, I know we're kind of getting off on a rant in a little bit
Yes,
here, but
I
with the dining, Disney is trying to get as much as they can out of kids now at dinner.
Of course they are.
Because you're going to find more and more that are family style dinners or buffet or something like that, which you're going to pay $30 for a 3-year-old who is going to eat nowhere near $30 worth of food, right?
Right.
And then you have the others that are like prefix, in which they also have a prefix charge for the child. Whereas, if you were at a place where you could buy it a la carte, you could get them something like, I don't know, a bowl of mac and cheese, and you're going to come out a lot better after your meal's all said and done.
No,
right?
I agree with that. Especially this last go round when we went, we did what 1, 2, 3 or 4 buffets. It's not worth it.
No.
We lost a ton of money on Emmeline and of course Russell. So, well, he was free, but still, $30 at Ohana. pfft, I mean, come on. I mean, no. I told Jen, I was like, we're just not going to do it. I mean, we were doing some things that we have never done together as a family. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I have done Crystal Palace, but it's been since I was a kid. But they've never done it.
Right.
Right.
Kind of like the reason why we had to go to Hall of Presidents. Jenna has done it before, but Emmeline hadn't. James, I thought you were taking me to Hall of Presidents. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, Carousel of Progress is next. You gotta,
Well, that was the plan this go around, but
you gotta
it
do it.
didn't happen.
You gotta there's always a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
I mean, I know I've seen it before, but golly, I don't know how old I was.
Carousel of Progress? Well, I'm trying to think when's the last time I did it.
I know when we got older, John, as adults, we didn't, or, as, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, we did not go to it. So.
When was the last time I watched it? I know I watched it in 01.
Well, anytime we did a challenge, I had to do it, so I've done it recently.
Right.
How do you remember you watched Carousel of Progress 21 years ago?
Of course he would remember that.
I'm lucky if I remember what I did last week.
James, it's on the... Because it's on the video, maybe?
Oh, okay.
I mean, everything is documented in video anytime we go, if you remember that.
Well, I mean, like 2001. I'm like, really, off the top of your head, we remember that?
Well, because I can tell you it's been 28 years since I've been in Hall of Presidents, so there you go.
Well, guess what? You ain't missing nothing, unless you want a 22-minute nap.
So is it? Oh, you counted how long it was?
No, they tell you how long the show is. You just look it
Oh,
up.
it was 22 minutes.
Yeah.
No, okay.
No, trust me. My wife with the phone, James, this show's 22 minutes long. Because we sit in different places, okay? Her and Emmeline sits kind of in the middle of the room. I mean, because, we were really fighting for a seat in there that night. There may have been 5 people in there. They sit kind of in the middle, and I sit toward the end so I could, in case Russell started hollering, I could just take him out. I get a text, bing! James, you know the show's 22 minutes long? No. So, yeah, that's how I know.
Yeah, the last time I did American Adventure at Epcot, I did fall asleep.
See?
Now, see, I like that one better, though. I actually enjoyed that one.
It's probably,
It's long.
Yeah,
The last nap I took.
It's more entertaining than Hall of Presidents.
I didn't take a nap then because it was 8 o'clock at night, and it's not like you standing out in 100-degree heat during the middle of the day. The last nap I actually took this year was on Spaceship Earth. Me and Russell both fell asleep on Spaceship Earth. I was holding him.
very dark.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
He went to sleep, and so did I.
I've never fallen asleep on it, but I have kind of like closed my eyes for a little bit, I guess, done the eye rest thing before. Mm-hmm. The last time that I did it, while it was still operational, obviously, that in which I went there and decided to take a nap during it, was Universe of Energy.
Oh, that's a good nap.
Yeah. It wasn't as good as, like, say, if you really just needed a place to get off in a room and take a nap. Back in the day, it was Sounds Dangerous with Drew Carey. That was real easy because you were already in the dark majority of the time anyway.
Oh, think about Spaceship Earth, though.
No, I mean, you were literally in the dark. Like, you were sitting in there in the dark.
It was late in the day. We went, and I was like, it was like towards, like when we were going to take a break, go back to the room kind of time. And we went in Spaceship Earth before we left. And I was like, okay. About the time, when I woke up, Russell's dead asleep in my lap.
So he wasn't excited about the history of communication?
No. Mm-hmm. There wasn't enough singing and people moving.
Speaking of singing and moving, did you see this about Lightning Lane coming to Festival Fantasy Parade?
Seriously?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Gosh. You and I made the comment, too. It's like,
it's coming.
Like, as soon as this came out, there's like 1,000 vloggers that are going to this. I'm like, you would have thought it was brand new. It's like, Festival of Fantasy is back.
It's exactly
so we just said, yeah, so like we sit there and watch that it started. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's nice.
Think about if that was your job every day and you're like, okay, I'll do nothing but Disney content. Really, how much new stuff could you do on a daily basis?
Sure.
Well, if you're talking about like brand new, nobody's seen anything before, but that's not what this is either. This is just something that's been gone for a while.
They go to a calendar. They go, oh, this is coming back. And they go to it. They flock to it.
Do you know what I would do?
What?
I would actually go to the park, focus on one attraction, and like talk about it and go through it and stuff like that. Or take something like Rise of the Resistance and say, I'm going to see how many times I can go on it today. Stuff like that. I would always find something to do. There would always be a way to reinvent it.
You're going to film yourself for 12 hours getting on Rise of Resistance twice?
No, I did not say the whole thing. I did not say the whole thing. It's like there is such a thing as editing, and you wouldn't shoot the whole thing.
I was kidding.
Anyway.
So it says there'll be a Lightning Lane viewing area beginning March 11th, and it'll be access to regular Lightning Lane.
Tomorrow.
So, yeah. Where is this viewing area? Frontierland. That's probably where it'll be.
I don't know.
No, maybe the hub
is,
or down Main Street, the plaza area. I don't know.
You said Frontierland?
I mean, that's where they always send you to go. Like, I remember when you walk up anywhere where you're not supposed to be in a crosswalk, they're like, go to Frontierland. They always tell you, go to Frontierland. There's plenty of viewing space over by Splash Mountain. Yeah.
Any parades that I watch, I actually started watching them from there for two reasons.
Less crowded.
Well, there's one of them, and it's over there first, so I can go do something right over. Yeah.
Go to Big Thunder afterwards and get a short wait. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The one reason that I like for daytime parades to be back is while everybody's watching that, I can go to something that's popular and get a lesser time.
Usually.
So,
I mean, I watched one vlog today where they were showing the parade, and there was quite a few people watching it. Of course, there's quite a few people there, too, so.
It's going to take away, just like the experience we were talking about with the fireworks just in January, right? Even though we missed out on it just barely because we had to walk to go to. But during the time when the fireworks were going on or right after, Peter Pan went down to like 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. But as soon as it was over with, it was up to like 45, 50, something like that. I mean, it was all the way back up as soon as it was over with. So
they come rushing back.
But it made that big of a difference.
Speaking of fireworks, sorry.
I don't even have any fireworks.
I do. I have a fireworks.
What fireworks do you have?
It says Enchantment starting May 16th is going to start at 9:20 instead of 9 p.m.
Ah, yes, I do remember seeing that. Yeah. 20 minutes later, so that's... wait a minute, it doesn't do it at 9 p.m. anyway. It does it at 8 p.m. now, doesn't it?
They were probably giving summertime numbers, or it's getting closer to summertime numbers. That's probably why they said 9:20.
Okay, because I was thinking it started at 8 p.m. now, but I mean, either way.
Well, isn't the time change this weekend?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, I mean, I was thinking it would be an hour and 20 minutes different, not just 20 minutes, but that's what I was getting at. Okay, so I had a couple more stories that I wanted to try to get in real quick. We were talking about the shareholders meeting once again, and Chapek brought up the sports betting market basically again, about how he says he wants to transform sports broadcasting into a multi-dimensional ecosystem with betting and the metaverse. He's quoted as saying to seriously consider getting into gambling in a bigger way, and ESPN is a perfect platform for this. That's what he said at the fourth quarter earning call. So what do we think of this? I mean, I was thinking, as I kind of mentioned to you, Adam, like I said before, it kind of feels like he's wanting to get in, move the ESPN product or something related to that into something similar to like a DraftKings or something like that.
Yeah, because it's losing money, and it's been losing money for a long time. So they're trying to. It's his thing. Monetize everything. Get everything positive.
I guess they can't help the fact that sports in general kind of suck now. But I mean, for real. I mean, just there's not that much exciting in them.
Pro sports.
Well, if you're a Georgia team this year,
who?
If you're in Georgia this year.
That's college. Well, and
the Braves, man. You forget about the
Braves.
Well,
let me back up. Everything except baseball.
Okay, yes.
Okay, it's good, because you're talking about what you care about.
Soccer, are we doing okay?
Yeah, what I care about.
The Hawks are doing good.
Don't care.
I don't think they're doing as good as you think.
I don't remember.
No, Georgia, if y'all, I mean, I know it doesn't hurt y'all's feelings, but yes, Georgia winning this year hurt my feelings.
Oh, did it? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Why don't you go cry in a past trophy?
There's a bunch of them to cry into.
Okay, yeah,
exactly.
the Hawks are doing bad.
That's my point.
Anyway.
That's what I thought. I was like, they were at the bottom of the barrel last time I saw.
They're 10th in the East.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. Yeah, they're doing good. They're doing as good as all the NASCAR drivers used to pull for, John.
Right. What are you talking about? Smoke? Hello?
Steve Parks.
That was right after Dale Earnhardt had died. That was sentimental. Anyway.
We're off Disney again.
Exactly.
Back.
We're in the sports world, and we're talking about instances of sports as the reason why it's really not doing well. So, all right. So, another thing we got was a first look at Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Did you get to see that?
Yeah. The teaser.
Yeah, I'm wondering how often that's going to come up. Like, how big is his role in these 6 episodes? Like, how often is Vader going to make a presence known? And is James Earl Jones going to voice him, I assume?
I don't know.
Surely he's got to.
But Vader trains the Inquisitors, so from what I understand, again, I don't know.
I don't know anything about the Inquisitors either. I don't know where they came from.
Apparently they were trained by Vader to hunt down Jedi after Order 66.
Right.
I just looked it up on IMDb. Hayden Christensen is listed as being in all 6 episodes. So
Okay, so he makes at least a small appearance, if nothing else.
yeah.
In
So I think Vader will be very prevalent. I think they chose not to reveal too much of him because they want to save it for the show.
Yeah, makes sense.
Anyway, which they released the one picture today, by the way. Picture of Vader. You didn't see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Lord Vader.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go there.
Rise.
Yeah.
The Emperor?
Skywalker. Yeah. I mean, he'd be around too, wouldn't he?
All right, give me some props. I knew who that was.
Who would be around?
The Emperor. He'd be around, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah, he would be around, yeah.
Anyway, trailer was great, by the way. The teaser was great.
Okay, I was going back. I was just saying interactive televisions.
Yes,
That's what they're calling them.
interactive TV.
Arrive at Animal Kingdom Lodge. I don't know what that means. Don't they already have interactive televisions to a degree? Did they just not have them at AK Lodge, or is this a different level of interaction? That's what I'm trying
It
to figure
must
out.
be if they're announcing it. It must be something different.
Yeah. It says a new interactive television system that personalizes the in-room TV experience by welcoming guests upon arrival. Now that I think about this, don't you remember when there was some sort of patented technology that we saw back around the D23 whenever they started announcing all the Star Wars stuff that suggested that they were going to have some sort of virtual in-room experience that we thought was going to be utilized on the Star Cruiser.
Right.
Looks like that didn't happen either.
I thought they had a droid that talked to you in the room.
Yeah, but this is not the level we're talking about, James. This is something we saw patented, a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
About literally a virtual reality in-room experience, like totally taking you immersive.
Oh, like your own R2D2?
Yeah.
Well, what was the example they gave? Something like changing the scenery in the room without physically changing the scenery in the room.
Yeah, like projection mapping your room and stuff. Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, I
things
remember
like that. Yeah. Makes me wonder if they're heading in that direction, maybe. I don't know. But this kind of sounds like some of this stuff is some of the stuff they already have, but I don't know. I don't get it.
I'm sure COVID put that on the back burner.
Let's see.
Most likely.
Good possibility.
The new TV is pushing you to spend more money.
Anything.
Is that what it is? It's
Of
like
course it
brainwashing you?
is. Yeah. It's going to go, oh, you want to go to Animal Kingdom today because this such and such and such and such is going on in Animal Kingdom today.
It's like the in-room Alexa thing or whatever they're going to do. Yeah,
It's an Amazon Alexa TV.
Let's listen to keywords like bank account.
Power of
I have
suggestion.
this much money. Yeah.
Power of suggestion, right?
You're going to go to a park anyway. Go to this park. Yeah.
I still have $100 left. Oh, there's a dinner reservation available
There
that
you
just
go.
happened.
I was gonna
Would
say,
you
but-
like to book it now?
You know you need to dine at such an... I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It'd be like, there's plenty of availability at Tony's.
I've said it before and I'll say it again in front of y'all.
Exactly.
Disney have the marketing geniuses on their side because they know how to make money.
No, what it is, Adam? Adam, is you're going to ask Alexa. He's going, Alexa, give me a dining suggestion for this evening. Well, Paradiso 37 is available
Yeah.
at right now.
Yeah. It's always
Best
available.
Yeah.
That and what's the other one that's always available? I mean, every time I looked,
Rick's Sports Bar.
there's a ton of them at Disney Springs that's always available.
Yeah.
Or what was it? It was like that meme that I showed you, Adam, I think, or showed in the chat, where it said something like, I want a Space 220 reservation or something like that. And Disney's like, best I can do is at 10 o'clock at Coral Reef.
Yeah.
Or something like that at 10 p.m. at Coral Reef.
Yeah.
How is that going? I mean, I haven't heard anything else. I haven't heard anybody like ranting and raving about that restaurant anymore.
It's never available. So
It's awesome, man. I thought it was great. I would go back.
Did y'all go at dinner time or lunchtime though?
It was dinner. It was
Was
right
it?
at sunset because you get to watch the shadow of the sun pass over the earth. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's cool.
But as I said,
It's
it's
worth
it's
it.
never available, so it's obviously popular.
I guess so. I mean, I just haven't heard anybody else talking about it a whole lot lately, and I haven't seen any news about it lately. So
I mean, the Festival of Fantasy started, so why would you even talk about Space
that's
220
right.
anymore?
You forgot about Flower and Garden.
Yeah.
The entranceway, by the way, at Epcot, that looks really good setup. I mean, I kind of like it. I mean, I know it has
Looks real
Figment on
good
it. So.
today.
Yeah.
It looks like the food, though. The best food at all the festivals at Epcot is Food and Wine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the original one that had food.
It's
None of the
still,
others had
and guess
food.
what? It tops them.
Oh,
So it tops it.
I think Jason begs to differ. He likes Festival of the Arts better.
You were there?
We've been several times there in Food and Wine because it's towards September when we used to go all the time.
It
But-
also lasts
Yeah,
6 months now.
Exactly. But we went to festival. This is the first time I think I've ever been to Festival of the Arts when me and Jenna and Emmeline and Russ went. And we actually sampled more food this go around than we ever have at the booths. But we did do Food and Wine the previous trip.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Good time.
but honestly, dude, I may have to agree with Jason a little bit because there's a lot of that food in the Festival of the Arts that was really good.
Yeah. He also, the art exhibits are cool to look at too.
Didn't
Stuff
look
like
at
that.
any of them, but the food was really good.
I'm looking at one right now I bought from Festival of the Arts last year. It's the Millennium Falcon in Cloud City. Remember that one, John? I showed you, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I bought it at Festival of the Arts last year. I did want to throw in another thing. If we got a, Jason would probably be mad if I didn't mention that there was a challenge. Did you guys see what he shared of? James may not be as familiar with the challenge stuff, but Kenny the Pirate and Rich Hurt did 40 out of 49 rides. That's the most anyone's done since COVID started.
COVID
they did it
reservations
during
and no trick fast pass.
Or most points, I should say. I'm not sure if ride count is, but
I actually do know who Kenny the Pirate is, Adam.
yeah, I know you know who Kenny the Pirate is, but I'm talking about, you know he's a challenge runner, though, and he's one
I
of the
did not
best.
know that part. I
Yeah,
did
he's
know
one
who
of the
he
best.
was. So, is he really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's one of the best.
40 out of 49, that's pretty good with reservations.
The Mount Rushmore of challenge runners, he's on there, for sure.
How many times did he do it on the previous one?
Gosh, he did the coast to coast. He completed back-to-back Disneyland and Walt
Okay,
Disney
wait a
World.
minute. The coast to
Challenge.
coast, what do you have to do on the coast to coast?
Ride every ride at in a day at both coasts.
How the crap do you do that?
You do all the rides
Timing.
at one, get on a plane, fly to the next, and do it again. Well, within 2 days. It's 2 days.
All I was fixing to
But
say, yeah, it's basically 2 days.
Yeah, you do a whole day at Disneyland. You get on a plane, a red-eye flight back to Orlando.
But
You get up and do it again.
isn't it technically still all in a 24-hour period, though? Technically?
I mean, it's over 2 days still. It's 1 day at Disneyland.
I know, but I'm saying the number of hours spent.
I mean,
is
number
a
of hours
day.
spent in the challenge, maybe.
That's amazing. I don't think that's something I'd try to do. Not at 40.
Also, so just to say, like, they did 40 rides. They started at Hollywood Studios, did them all there. Then park hopped to Animal Kingdom, did Animal Kingdom. Park hopped from there and did 2 rides at Epcot. And then they did Magic Kingdom starting at, what is 1826 military time? I'm trying to think of it.
1600's 4 o'clock, so 6:30.
6:30. They arrived at Magic Kingdom and did the riverboat at 6:30 before it closed.
Wow.
And, yeah. And then finished Magic Kingdom, I think.
That'd be tough if they didn't get over there till 6:30.
Yeah. I mean, they only did 2 at Epcot, but congrats to Kenny and Rich.
40 out of 49. That is pretty good with the reservation pilot thing
Yeah.
going on.
Impressive.
Yes.
Most impressive.
Are you got one in the future, Adam? You want to do it again?
I would do it again potentially, but as of right now, I don't have interest in doing it.
I understand.
I gotta be honest. To me, it doesn't become interesting to try again unless they open up park hopping from earlier than 2.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so tough. And he did 40 out of 49. You can't swap till 2.
And
that's very impressive.
They did 31 rides after 2 p.m.
Well, the one thing that's been the pretty obvious strategy is the starting park is a guarantee which one you got to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't start with Magic Kingdom...
They started with Hollywood Studios, by the way.
I was going to say Hollywood Studios.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was going to say.
Actually, starting with Magic Kingdom is not a bad strategy either, but I get what you're...
But
Adam, what did it used to be? It used to be Animal Kingdom, right?
It depends on the day, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It depended on what was open the earliest.
But if you start at Magic Kingdom first thing in the morning, you could get done way before 2, so you're just sitting around.
Yeah.
But then from 2 to whatever park closes, and Magic Kingdom is usually always the one that's open the latest.
The latest.
When you and Jason started doing this, were you ever like the first people at the gate?
Oh, always, yeah.
Really?
We would get there like 2 hours before the park opened.
So y'all were like the first people that come into the gate?
Yeah, when we did it both times, I think maybe we were the first people there, yeah. When we first did it, we were the only people in the Animal Kingdom parking lot.
That's cool.
We drove through the gate without, there's nobody at the gate. We just drove right through.
Without paying?
Yeah.
No. Nice.
Neither time we started.
That's the way it was.
Yeah.
What was it? The first morning, I think, that I went to Galaxy's Edge when it was doing that whole super early thing or whatever it is. I was there before they had somebody at the toll booth or the parking lot. So if you're there that early, back then at least anyway, you could still get in and not have to pay. But
if you're that crazy to get here 2 hours before the park opens, go ahead.
Yeah.
Right. Well, there's people that still do it.
Yeah, but where do you actually park? You don't get to park in preferred parking, do you?
We did, yeah. We just
Really?
parked wherever
you want.
Well, I guess so, because they don't really mark them to let you know which one's which, do they?
We didn't go
Just get in a spot.
as far as the handicap spaces, so we parked as close as we could to those. There's that whole section's kind of roped off as handicap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and can I add one little thing, even though it's not non-Disney news? It is kind of big news.
What?
Stuff would be interested in.
Okay, what?
Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Hollywood.
You had to mention that on Mario Day.
It's going to be open in 2023, so next year.
What? Oh.
Do you realize we're recording this on Mario Day? Isn't that weird?
I did not realize that, actually, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's why they announced it today. March 10th, so MAR 10 kind of looks like Mario.
Really?
That's why today's Mario Day. Anyway.
It's like May the
March
4th.
10th. Exactly.
But at least we have a date.
Yeah.
They know for sure.
Which is cool.
It's gonna...
You gonna go?
Well, that's actually Universal Studios Hollywood.
Right. It's gonna open there first, but it will be in Florida. What, in like 5 more years? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
coming. I mean, you got Batu West, you got Batu East. It's coming. Super Nintendo West, Super Nintendo East. It's coming.
Maybe that would make it worth maybe next year's to
Doing
do
a
it
double
like maybe
Disneyland and
well, yeah,
yeah,
maybe making a long
Universal.
trip out to California.
yeah, right. Do both.
Work them both in.
That might be worth it. Sure.
I mean, since you only have 2 parks at Disney out there, I mean, it makes it easier.
Right.
As of right now, from what I've been hearing, it's like a nightmare trying to get in those 2 parks. But anyway, that's another conversation.
California.
Well, it's also not next year.
Well, I'm just saying. Who knows what the future holds? But
Yeah.
right now, it's
Right now, the demand is there.
nightmare.
Okay, so if you enjoyed this, definitely let us know by contacting us. You can do that on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That is all at TWTM Podcast. We have a Spreadshirt store in which you can get your exclusive TWTM merchandise. That is shop.spreadshirt.com/TWTM Podcast. And as I always mention, we do have a YouTube channel. I haven't really updated it lately, but I have been doing a little bit of work and trying to decide what I can put out there. But you can see things there whenever I get it available.
And you can find those links on our website, travelingwiththemouse.com. We also have an email address, which is podcast@travelingwiththemouse.com. And if you want to book your own trip, we have a travel agent friend to the show, Jill Dilbeck. Her email is jilldilbeck@gmail.com.
So for Adam, James, my name is John. This has been Traveling with the Mouse. And we hope you will join us on our next trip.
Boo Chapek. Glory to Ukraine. Rainbows.